In this video, I'm going to be fitting a whole house water filtration unit. This one, because the customer has got problems with the water smelling, the taste of the water, various other things, and this unit is going to stop all of that. It does that much. I've got a list of everything it removes here on my phone. So this whole house water filtration unit has got a carbon block which removes and treats chloride, bad taste and odour, microplastics, herbicides, pesticides, hormones, organic materials, filters out sediment to 5 micron, and being the coconut shell in here, it's a natural choice for drinking water. So what we've got to do is fit it onto this incoming main so it filters the whole house, gets rid of the odour, gets the drinking water tasting right, with isolation valves, service valves, outside tap, check valves, isolation and everything. I'm Mark, this is Real World Plumbing. Let's sort out the water coming into this property. So then, as you'll just have seen in the intro, we've got this filtration unit here. Now this is going to sit the first port of call straight off the incoming main. We've got to alter this round a little bit. Luckily for us, it's 22mm going into the property, it's 22mm coming in. It does reduce down to go through the water meter into 15, but it is what it is. We've got to work from that. So what I'm planning on doing is getting the water off, get it all isolated, then put this meter onto here so it's coming straight off the main, and then we can work from there, because this unit has obviously got a bolt to the wall, and we can keep the meter in place there, put the unit in, then come off and connect back onto the house. And obviously we're going to put outside taps and whatnot in here. But first off, let me show you through this filter, because this is the top, obviously. So water goes into here, out of there, but what it does, when it goes in that end there, it comes straight down that, which in turn goes straight down the filter, out of the filter, into the housing, and then from the housing, once it's filtered, goes back out through there and off to the house. So these filters, I fitted these for years and years, and they are really good. I fitted them into domestic properties, commercial buildings, catering buildings. So I will add a link down into the description. This company is nothing to do with me. I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not sponsored by them, anything like that. I just think it is a really good product that I've used for years and years on so many different installs. So I'll put all the links in the description. Check them out, Wrekin Water. The website has got loads of stuff on it, from water osmosis to massive great big chemical stuff and whatnot. Because remember, years ago you used to be able to get the water softeners with the salt, where you used to top the salt up and all that sort of stuff. These seem on par with them, and they're a lot smaller, a lot neater, a lot easier to work with, a lot easier to use as well. So right, first off, let's get this out of the way, let's get the water off and get this main moved to where we need to, and then we can work from there. First things first, let's get the water off. Now we've got a stop tap here, and we've got the old one, or the original one here. Now I've just turned it a little bit, and luckily it turns off. Here's a little tip for you. The little hole in the end of your adjustables is perfect for getting leverage on there. So we'll get that off, like so. Get this one off, and then that's going to hold us to this point here, so we can get all of this done. And then when all this is out of the way, we can get that drained down. So with the water meter cut out and we're right back to the stop tap here, I've tweaked the meter slightly, so we're coming up straight onto a press fit 15 to 22 mil reducer. So we're going to pop that there. It's going to sit perfectly there, and then we can come off and pick up the filter unit there. So let's get this attached, then we can get the filter unit on the wall, and then we can work into that. Makes life a lot easier. Also, I've moved the van. It's so handy having your van right next to where you're working. How often is it where you're working somewhere and the van is like a street over or down the end of the drive or something like that? But that is perfect. Can you see me all right? I don't know if this is going to pick it up because it's quite dark in here. So to site the filter on the wall, I've unpacked it, and what we're going to do is put this bracket onto the actual unit. It comes with the fittings. We've got 12mm screws that go through these 4 holes in this bracket there, bolt to the top of the housing, and then we can offer that into position, get it measured up, work out exactly how we're going to do it. But first of all, let's get these 4 bolts put into here. So with the cradle bolted on, let's get these taped up with some Loctite 55 and get it made in to the side there, and also the outlet there. So we think we're going to mount this about here. I've got one hand holding the bracket where I want it. I've popped a 22mm full bore isolation valve on there. So we'll come up there, a few elbows, into the unit, out the other side. Then where it drops down here, I'm going to put another isolation valve down. And then we're going to pick up the outside tap, etc., and connect on to the existing pipework going into the house. So yeah, I'm going to mount it roughly about there, I think.
I honestly don't know. I think once you messed around. Yeah. But there was a lot about it that I liked. So it's a really it's a bit like the rubber welder. And I just want to do it.
There we go, mounted on the wall, nice and solid. Now we can work from this valve up, elbows in, out, drop down, get it all clipped, get it nice and neat. Once we're through the unit, we can then connect onto the main and sort out for an outside tap. Yes, we are going press fit in here. For all the haters, yes, I can still solder. I still know how to solder. I've been soldering 30 years since I started being a plumber. I just want to do a little bit of press fit. I just think in here, it's going to look perfect with a bit of press fit. So we've cut that bit there, we've cut that there. We've got a normal elbow and then a street elbow on there. So what I'm going to do is mark there, mark that point there, and then mark underneath here. So then we know if when we go to press that, or say I moved it, say I knocked something down there and it just pulled it back to here, you can see that it needs to go like that. So with that in position there, we can get this pressed up, and then that's the inlet side near enough done, and we can work off there. So straightforward as just opening the jaws up, pop that on there, press our button, job done. So make sure that's in line there, get our press gun down over the top, so and then the last one just here. Job done. Let's get this tightened up, and then what I'll probably do is just turn this back on, back up to here, and then we know that's all good to go and we can work from that point. Hope we start by running the level through, getting the pipe work exactly how we want it, working off that spirit level line that we put through, drilling the holes, getting some clips on so we can make sure the pipe is nice and secure. Being 22mm on this job, with the pipe work locked into position with those clips, is going to hold it absolutely solid. And obviously we've got the bolts in the unit itself that holds it. So then we mark up for the isolation valve that's going to come from the outlet of the unit. Get that cut in, and then we can offer the 22mm elbows into place. We've got one normal elbow and one street elbow, or a male to female elbow. Some people call them street elbows. I've always called them street elbows. Others call them MF elbows. So we'll get that pressed into position. So with the pipe work done now to the filter, with the valves off, in theory we could turn that one on and pressurise that up, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to get this off. I just completely forgot that the house is still connected up to this point. I didn't have my bucket there to drain it down. So we'll get the water out of that, and then we can take this off here and work out how we're going to do it. Come across up to feed the outside tap. But yeah, let's get this bit off first and see how we're going to do it. So I've just taken a fitting off the existing pipework that goes into the house, the 22mm, or what we thought was 22mm, because this pipe here is the old 3/4. It's ever so slightly different to 22mm, ever so slightly smaller. If I put a 22mm olive on, I don't know if you can see this, just see that little bit of movement on it, whereas on a normal bit of 22mm, it will go on and there's no movement at all on it. Slides on, whereas on the old 3/4, pop it on and you've got all that movement in it. Now you can get an end feed fitting, a 3/4 to 22mm reducer to go on them. I haven't got any in the van, however I have got a 22mm compression coupler. Now what you can do is pop the existing 22mm nut on elbow, 22mm nut and olive on, and then put some paste on it, and then when you tighten it up, that will tighten up onto the old 3/4 pipe. So we're going to be governed by that going on there. It's going to come out straight. I think what I'm going to do is bend a little bit of pipe into the bottom here, cut a T in here, and come off and feed the outside tap. So if ever you come across any 3/4 pipe instead of 22mm pipe, either get a reducer for it, or you can use a compression coupler or compression elbow or whatever you need to. So that might get you out of a sticky situation. Very rare you find it now. I think a lot of it has been taken out, but that one caught me out. It's a good job I had that coupler on the van. So let's get that tightened on and work from there into the 22mm. So we can now come off here, bend a little bit of 22mm across onto here. We're also going to cut a T in there for the outside tap. So let's get a little bit of 22 in. Only has to be a tiny little bend, or even, it's not even a bend, it's just a tiny little kink. I even think that could be a bit too much. No, I think we're spot on with that. So let's trim. I've started using this a little bit more. Obviously I've got slices in there, but I've started using this Milwaukee pipe cutter a lot more. It's just dead quick, really easy, dead quick, and it's surprising the places you can get it in. So yeah, it's really easy. So before we trim it down, there we go. That's perfect. I think we'll get that. Might have to just put a little kink on the bottom of there, but I might get it. Let's just mark that for an elbow. In fact, no, I won't. I'm going to mark that with a T, so we can put a T reducer and a drain off to go off the end there, just in case the house ever needs to get drained down. But for now, let's mark this. I think we might get it. Possibly. But before we cut that out, we need to mark up for a T to come off. There. So let's trim there. I'm going to see if I can set that back a little bit better with a bend. I want it to come out and back because it's just poking around a little bit too much there. It's not too bad actually. Right, I did try and bend and put a little set in that, but it's too close this side to get it, and if I sweep the bend round, we're not going to get that fitting on there enough to push right into the, we're not going to get the pipe right into the fitting enough for it to be how it should be all the way in. So that's the way that that's going to go. So let's mark them. Let's do it in pen because someone will moan that it's not in pen. That's done. Can mark that. Can mark that. Right, before we get that done, before we get that pressed up, I'm going to ask you to get subscribed to the channel. Why don't you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. If you're liking it, give it a thumbs up. That just helps massively push the video and get the content out there. But also, a lot of you who watch this content aren't subscribed. It's free to get subscribed. Hit the button, get subscribed to the channel to not miss out on any more plumbing. Right, let's get this pressed up into position and then we're ready to sort out for the outside tap. And then because we got this in 15mm at the end, let's swap the jaws out and get that done. So as the bulk part of the filter is now done, we move on to getting the pipework and the isolation valve and the check valve in ready for the outside tap. Now I've made all this up already and we're just tightening up the full bore 15mm isolation valve onto there like so, and then obviously we'll paste it up. We'll get the check valve going on the top just to stop any back siphonage coming back through the outside tap. You should always put one on if you're fitting an outside tap. And because I know the owner's going to be out there with his jet wash in the summer cleaning his car, we've got to make sure that's on there. Some of them come with a little plastic one in the actual tap itself, but I found in the winter they can freeze up and then it just breaks the internal check valve. So always fit one of those standalone check valves on an outside tap. So we get all our pipework now into position. We'll cut a T in. Now, you might notice me put something in here. Now, I didn't notice it at the time, and because this channel is Real World Plumbing, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Now, I've put a drain off at the bottom of this pipework to drain the outside tap off in the winter. Now, they're going to isolate it further up. So the drain off that I put in at the bottom is completely useless. Now, I will be going back to this job at some point. So what I'll probably do is just alter the pipework round and make sure that isolation is this side of the drain off valve so that it works. In the winter, they can drain it down. So then we're just about in. That is all the pipework done, everything fixed back to the wall. I've just got to lag it when we finish, but I'm going to do that after we finish doing the video. So let's just walk through it. You've got your incoming main here. We've refitted the water meter and we've put the strap banding, the earth banding back on. We've got an isolation valve there. We come up into the bottom of the unit. Just had a coffee from the customer. They sort of know, don't they? In through the unit, we've got to take, I'll take the bottom off in a minute and show you, but then obviously out, another isolation valve, down, drain off there, and then we've connected back onto that 3/4 pipe with our coupler, and then we're coming off, drain off on the pipework to the outside tap. We can turn this off, double check valve, and then the tap there. So let me just move my coffee out of the way, and I'll show you. Obviously this just, when they come to change the filter, off that side, and then they just press the button to take the pressure out of the system, and then it's just a case of unscrewing that with obviously a bucket underneath it, and then the housing just drops off the bottom there, and there's your coconut carbon filter that catches all the rubbish. But as I said, it comes in through here, through that main hole, down through the bottom of the, well, down through the top of the through the filter, and then out into the main part of it there, and then up and along and off into the house. So yeah, right, I'm just going to finish having my coffee, have a bit of a tidy up, and then we can get this turned on, check that there's any leaks, and go in and make sure everything's all right. I'm going to obviously keep the camera out here because I don't want to take the camera in the house on this job because we're working out here. So once we've got that done, we should be good to go. Right, let's get this filter unpacked out of here, and you can see there's a rubber washer on the top there that fits into the body of it, and there's one on the bottom. So we'll get that put into there. There's a little sort of cut out of the bottom, so it sits perfect on that, like so. So let's screw this up into the unit. Once it starts screwing, it just locates itself inside. And there's a rubber ring around there anyway that when you tighten it up, it just seals in. You've got your big key, so just pop that in, just nip it up like so, and we're good to go. So before we turn this on, as I said, I'm not sponsored, this isn't a paid video or anything like that. It's just a company that I've used these water filters for years and years, even before I started doing YouTube, and I was fitting a lot of these for commercial buildings, restaurants and that sort of stuff, because they are so good. I'll put all the links in the description. Wrekin Water, they're good as gold. Go and have a look at their website, check them out. So let's just double check that's nipped up, and then with that one off, we know that one's on there, so let's fill that. You can hear it going through the filter. And then that little, but once this is, there we go, completely full. I think you press this and it will just get the air. There you go. Just wipe that down. It's not a problem, just gets all the air out of the unit. As I said, I'm going to get all this lagged once I'm finished anyway. So the water's in the unit, we know everything is good to go, nice and watertight. So let's turn this back on, and again, filling the house. Perfect, job done. There you go, sorted. All we've got to do now is turn the outside tap on, but that's all good. So I've just been inside, pulled the water through, good as gold. Everywhere's working fine, as it will be, because all we're doing is reconnecting back onto the main. All this is in now, we're just going to get some lagging on it. So yeah, as I said, I'll put all the links in the description, but this was, I'll put it up on the screen now, the Wrekin Water HF10 high flow carbon block, and there's a big list of what it does. So incorporates a carbon block for exceptional performance, treats and removes chloride, bad taste and odour, microplastics, herbicides, pesticides, hormones, removes organic materials, filters out sediment to 5 micron. Coconut shell is a natural choice for drinking water, so even with this, the water coming out your tap should be as good as drinking water. So hope you've enjoyed it. As always, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one.